Nearing the end of the day, and I still have a new guest. So, who are you, and what brings you to JCON?
So, hello everyone. My name is Patrick Baumgartner. I'm from Switzerland, and I'm here at JCON to do a talk tomorrow morning. And obviously, another reason would be actually like to meet the whole Java community here, which is actually always a pleasure to see friends. Yeah.
We already had quite a few guests from Switzerland. Is there a close connection with JCON, or is this just the closest conference that you can go to?
No, that's not true. I would say like JCON has a train connection, which is like roughly for most of us like 6 or 7 hours by train.
Hmm.
So you don't need to fly, so that's nice. And in Switzerland, there are not that many Java conferences. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like one of those would be Workspace Zurich, of course,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. I see you have the speaker badge.
Yeah.
That means you have a talk.
Yes. I'm going tomorrow to talk about a pet project because I once had the idea I should do a talk about something, what you could do like on a side project and learn actually like what something you could learn for work actually. So I have an example built up like 2 years ago or something like that, where I created an application because I was tired of an Android app, which was really heavyweight and difficult to use. So I wrote an application which deals with a Telegram bot. And I used that to kind of like the Telegram bot to send messages and then use this kind of messages I sent and display it like as a digital postcard on a display. And I have set up it in a way that you have kind of end to end everything. So it's like automatic build, automatic deployment, and things like that. And it was actually quite fun because I realized first I did it for me because I was tired of using this heavyweight Android app, which took me way too long to send these digital postcards. And then actually like my family started to use it, and then I realized I build software, but it's not for me. They have like different needs, and now I have different needs. And then other things happened, like for example, that spam arrived at the Telegram bot, and now the spam messages were sent as well to the display. So yeah, quite a
You
lot
got
of
hacked.
things. Yes, I got hacked, and then I had to implement kind of filters. But like there is another problem when you do private things. It's also like putting emojis on a canvas in a Docker container. It's not possible because a Docker container with build packs does not have an emoji font.
Yeah.
So you always see like running on your machine, but when you deploy it, it's not working. And it took me quite a while to find out actually like why, and then second actually like how to fix it. Yeah.
Isn't that the story of all pet projects? It's a good idea, and then it becomes too big,
I guess so.
but you learn.
Yeah, you learn quite a lot. I mean, I learned like how to patch my run images of the build packs. I learned of like the needs of like the family or the extended family, and also like my needs as well to see like if somebody sends a message, I want to see it as well, even if I'm not at home.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was quite an interesting route, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah. You use messages. Is there some messaging system in between, or?
Well, actually, the Telegram bot receives a message, and like the library I'm using is basically just polling the Telegram environment, and this way you receive kind of messages. I use them internally also as messages. Yeah.
So a Java library to
Yeah.
interact with
Yeah,
Telegram.
exactly. And it's quite interesting because like WhatsApp and Signal, there is also libraries for those which are based on their web client. So it's kind of a wrapper for those. But Telegram has a proper API. You probably have seen that you can do games and other things. So they really like created something way bigger and with much more possibilities, which is actually quite interesting. And that's why you have like channels, or you can write bots in channels, but also like bots you can talk to directly. You can write your personal bot. So I think it's like, I would say like nowadays it's more like for the old guys it would be a command line application. Now you use a
Yeah.
Telegram bot,
Yeah.
I would say. Yeah.
So actually, you're using Telegram as a message bus,
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
kind of,
Yeah,
but you don't need to pay for the hosting.
that's true. But a fun fact regarding hosting was also like for my pet project, I found out that I can run Docker container on my NAS at home.
Yeah,
So it's super cheap. It's basically for free because the NAS is actually also
it's already
running.
there.
And even like the optimization, how to deploy it there, is also super smooth, and yeah, so that's also something you don't have to pay always like at the cloud provider for your application.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Are there Raspberry Pis involved somewhere?
No, not at all. It's super simple.
Bad
It's just a
choice.
Spring Boot app, and I try to. Usually, I run another talk where I show people like how to optimize your Spring Boot app so that you can start up like in half of the time, use more than like 30% less RAM, have more throughput and stuff like that. And this is also kind of an application where I apply those things as well. You know.
So again, your professional knowledge,
I think
it's
it goes both ways.
both
Yeah,
ways.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you think it's important as a developer to have pet projects?
Of course, and this will be also like one of the main message tomorrow lunchtime, because the thing is actually like every I believe every developer should have a pet project, but it's not my current project I work on, the one which goes to production, because that's like way too risky if
Mm.
everyone has like his pet projects built in there. But I think we should be ready for future challenges, and we should actually have a pet project to do something that can be within the company, but that can be also something in your free time. So yeah, definitely everyone should have a playground where you can play safely, do your experiment, and maybe throw it away or not. So
Mm.
sometimes you have ideas which become like good open source projects or whatever, you know.
So you use it to experiment with new technologies,
Yeah,
other technologies that you didn't use yet on
exactly.
production.
Actually, also to learn, right?
Yeah.
So if your manager tells you, or like your product owner or whoever tells you, we are going to do this, you have already some pre-knowledge on something, or at least like you have read about it, you know how it could work, you know, to get some ideas. So I think that time spent on those projects is very important to just like prepare you for the future.
Mm. Actually, it's a bit of my story, personal story. I experimented with Java on the Raspberry Pi,
Yeah,
wrote a book, wrote articles, and
yeah.
then ended up even with a new job.
Okay, of course, sure.
And that's something which
Yeah.
can happen because you get involved into an open source project, for instance.
Exactly.
And what other talks will you visit at the conference, or did you already visit?
Actually, I arrived just like after lunchtime, so I just had some good chats, and I haven't visited any talks yet, but I will definitely participate tomorrow morning in the talks.
Yeah, yeah. A story I hear a lot here is the community is
Yeah.
even more important than the talks for a lot of people.
I mean, there is no FOMO because the talks are recorded and you can watch if you want it afterwards. So,
Yeah.
so why not use the time to like mingle with people, talk about things and so on. So that's like the opportunity to meet each other, you know.
Mhm.
And even like for me personally, things have changed over, I would say, maybe the last 10 years. Maybe I was a participant like more than 10 years, 15 years ago on conferences, and I was just a regular participant. But when I started doing talks, I met people, and I'm now happy to meet them again, and they became friends over time. So basically, it's like visiting friends,
Mhm.
and that's actually nice. And then sometimes, and that happens actually like where you sit together and say, let's collaborate on something together. Let's do like a workshop or a talk on that topic for the next conference and things like that. So yeah, so that's actually nice to see all these people around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice conclusion. Thank you for being guest in the podcast again.
Thank you very much, Frank.
People who want to see you, we talked about the jug and other things.
Yeah.
So if they're on the list of the podcast on Foojay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.